Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for coming out this beautiful day in Georgetown, South Carolina, as we celebrate history and the story of James A. Bowley and Harriet Tubman. My name is Marilyn Hemingway, and I'm with the Gullah Geechee Chamber of Commerce, and I am so proud to be a native hometown girl of Georgetown, and I'm just so proud that this story was discovered. This hidden history was discovered, and today we are here to celebrate it and share it not only with Georgetonians. Georgetonians, raise your hands because you should be very proud of yourself. Okay. And those who are not from Georgetown, raise your hands. All right. And thank you for coming and enjoying the warm Georgetown hospitality. As we go along, I'm going to thank some folks and everything, but you did not come to see me. We have a program of some wonderful folks who have been involved with this effort. You will hear more about them as this program proceeds, and has another participant sits in. We're waiting on him, but I kind of like to start on time. So 5 minutes is actually late for me. So everybody knows that moving forward, right? Marilyn Hemingway likes to start on time. All right, thank you. All right, so we're going to have an opening prayer brought to you by Reverend Betty Dees Clark, who's actually the minister of my church. And we had some words about that this morning at the Health Walk. Yeah, where have you been, Marilyn? But I have no shame. I have my personal relationship with the Lord. Reverend Betty Dees Clark.
All right.
If you would, bow your heads, please. Lord God, in whom our soul takes delight, for this beautiful day, we thank you that under the cover of your beautiful clouds, we celebrate such a momentous occasion. We thank you for the life of Harriet Tubman, who once said, if you hear the dogs, keep going. If you see the torches in the woods, keep going. If they're shouting after you, keep going. Don't ever stop, keep going. And this is the part, Lord God, that we truly celebrate. If you want a taste of freedom, keep going. And so here we are today, moving forward as we reflect on our history. We ask that you would bless everyone under the sound of my voice, that we will never forget that our past is a part of us into our future. For this day, for these individuals, for this momentous occasion, we say thank you, and the body says amen.
All right, we're going to follow the program, and I'm going to name everyone, and then they'll just come up in the order as they are presented. Greetings will be brought to you by the Honorable Brendan Barber, Mayor of the City of Georgetown, South Carolina, followed by Dr. Randy Dozier, Superintendent of the Georgetown County School District, the Honorable Lily Jean Johnson, Georgetown County Council, District 4, and this is her district, so I'm sure she's proudly representing it today, followed by the Honorable Ronnie Sabb. If he is not here at that time, we're just going to rearrange him a little bit. And then Ms. Verbatine A. Reed, President of the Georgetown Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority. May we have Mayor Barber. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And may I share John 36 with you. So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. Now look, this is a joyous occasion, and I told Dr. Betty Clark, the Reverend Dr. Betty Clark, what a sanctuary we have here on this Saturday morning. Look at the congregation. Now, Marilyn, Steve Kent, please join me. I see Councilman Bradley, will you please come up, and Councilman Joseph, and Councilman-elect Henry Milton, please join us up here, please. Now, Steve, Marilyn, and Kent, these are our treasure hunters. As we begin to discover our unsung heroes here in the city of Georgetown. That's a blessing. And that's what we want for our entire city, to unite and find our unsung heroes. And as we work together, we will make a better Georgetown. We will be the focal point for this country. So with that being said, let me read this proclamation. James A. Bowley, Harriet Tubman, historical marker, dedication. City of Georgetown, South Carolina, meritorial proclamation. Whereas, in December of 1850, James Bowley, along with his mother and sister, was the first person that Harriet Tubman freed via her famous Underground Railroad. Whereas, was provided and afforded a formal education by the diligent and sacrifice of his aunt Harriet Tubman in the city of Philadelphia. Whereas, after the Civil War, with her encouragement, James Bowley came to Georgetown, South Carolina, with the Freedmen's Bureau as an agent, helping to negotiate legal contracts between planters and sharecroppers. Whereas James Bowley soon thereafter became a teacher on the Rice Hope Plantation in Georgetown County, the commissioner of the Georgetown County Schools, the 20th African American to pass the South Carolina bar, the second black lawyer to appear in Georgetown County courts, and was duly elected to the South Carolina State Legislature. And whereas becoming the chairman of their prestigious Ways and Means Committee, along with other colleagues, trustees at South Carolina College, and opened the doors for many blacks to attend this venerable college. And whereas James Bowley sponsored a bill to create the Union Savings Bank of Georgetown, soon after founded the Georgetown Planet newspaper, and was duly elected to the respected position of probate judge in Georgetown County in 1890 for his efforts to improve the quality of life for citizens of Georgetown County. Now, therefore, I, Brendan M. Barber, Sr., Mayor of Georgetown, South Carolina, do hereby proclaim September 21st, 2019 as James Bowley Day in the city of Georgetown, South Carolina, and ask our citizens to recognize James Bowley, who resides at 231 King Street, signed, seal, dated this 21st day of September 2019, Brendan M. Barber, Senior Mayor, Stephanie Busani, City Clerk. Let's give all that's present here today a round of applause. This was a very important day in my life, and also with the rest of the citizens and attendance here. But Dr. Dozier and I kind of coordinated outfits because I'm headed to a ball game. But I do, I don't know what order and who I present this to, but here's the team, and thank you so very much.
Good morning. It's hard to follow Mr. Barber. I did call him yesterday and ask him what the dress was, and I asked him too, were you going to preach again this morning, have scriptures ready? Because you always showed me up with that because I needed to do something. He never called me back, or he called me back later in the day when I wasn't available. But before I get started, I do want to recognize my board members that are here, Ms. Sandra Johnson, Mr. Randy Walker. Certainly appreciate their support. And Dr. Celestine Pringle, recently retired Deputy Superintendent, the legend over here in the background. But it's a real honor for me to be here today. On behalf of the Board of Education and Administration of Georgetown County School District, I bring you greetings. I want to thank Mr. Williams, Steve Williams, for asking me to be here today to speak. I don't know if you know, but I'm a history teacher. I'm a student of history. I love history, a history enthusiast. So yesterday, I read some of the letters and correspondence between Harriet Tubman and James Bowley. I would encourage you to read and look at some of that. It's very moving. It's very personable. I was certainly moved by that. Georgetown is a very, very rich in history. And when you look at the remarkable lives of these two individuals, they represent the best of humanity regarding their struggle for personal freedom, equality, the right to a free education for all, social justice, and the right to run for office and serve in political office. All these things we now sometimes take for granted. Because of their efforts, this world is a better place today, but I can remind you, with all the things that are going on today, there's still plenty of work to be done. I think Harriet Tubman's words, and I took these from the program, still ring true today. Don't ever stop. Keep going. We all should not be complacent, especially during these turbulent times, but should strive to improve and better ourselves and our community. I love being in Georgetown. Georgetown, as I tell many people, is a great place to live and work and bring your family up. I want to commend everybody for coming out today, and thank you for inviting me. Appreciate it.
Good morning. And it is a great morning here in Georgetown, South Carolina. I am so happy to be one in the number one more time. If you're happy to be one in the number one more time, raise your hand. Amen. James Alfred Bowley and Harriet Tubman are part of the Georgetown African American history. Yes, we are rich in our history. We are so grateful for the team that got together to make sure that this home will be recognized and acknowledged the world over. Everybody will beat a path to this home, especially with the rich history that is involved. And I'm happy that one more brick is being placed on the wall of African American history in Georgetown County. Prayerfully, it will continue and not end here. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Good morning, good morning. On behalf of the Georgetown Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, we are so honored and grateful to be in the midst of this awesome historical project. At this moment, I would like for all of my sorors of the Georgetown Alumni Chapter to stand. I do want you to know it was the message that came to me, the president, from Eunice Brown, Alma White, to say a historical marker will take place, and Georgetown Alumni Chapter is known to preserve the history in Georgetown County. We have erected 7 historical markers here in Georgetown and Pawleys Island. Thank you. And we are honored. This woman, Harriet Tubman, bold, brave, big-hearted woman, as Steve said, an angel of mercy, reaching out as a shepherd for women, men, and children to save them, to bring them to safety. We thank God for the visionaries. We thank God for the owner, Mr. Hermes, because I read in the paper that he found in the walls some important historical papers that brought this to reality. And we are thankful to the owner, because he could have burned it and thrown it away, but he shared it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you everyone for your greetings. And when Senator Sabb arrives, we will slip him into the program. As we proceed, I do want to recognize some folks. I have not forgotten you. I just wanted to make sure we got the greetings out of the way. And I do want to recognize Miss Sandra, Dr. Sandra Udisi. Where is she? Our new city manager. There she is. I do want to recognize her because she has really just dove into her position. She met with us this past Monday, a meeting that we had, and she's very much interested in the Gullah Geechee community, culture, and history. So we certainly welcome her and her interest, and we wish her the best as she leaves our city. We also want to recognize, did you recognize City Council? Okay, thank you. I'm totally blanking, y'all. All right. We also want to recognize someone that you will meet later and hear from her at our reception, but the great-great-great-grandniece of Harriet Tubman is here with her husband, Miss Tina Wyatt. If you just want to raise your hand so everybody can see you, and Donna Wyatt. We are deeply honored by her presence, and we've enjoyed her these last couple of days, having lunch and dinner and at the lecture and everything. And we look forward to getting to know her much better. Even though we've had greetings from these folks, I do want to, in particular, recognize with special thanks for their support and generosity. And they're not on the program, the first two, but the Low Country Veterans Group, if they could just wave their hands, they came out and helped set up chairs, etc. So we are very thankful to them. And the NAACP handing out the programs. Where's Marvin? All right, there we go. Thank you. I also want to recognize my father because he made it. Hi, Dad. Had a little drama with that, so thank you for coming. Once again, we want to say thank you to the Delta Sigma Theta sorority, the Georgetown Alumni Chapter. They were a great supporter of this, and we thank them for their generosity. The Georgetown County Library System, Bob Bowley with Friends of the Library. There he is. Is the wife here?
The wife's right here.
Oh, thank you. The wife, from day one when we approached them, they have just been all on board with this effort, and we thank you. Thank you for your support. Georgetown County School District, once again, thank you to Dr. Dozier and the staff of Georgetown County and the educators. Coastal Carolina University. Did I see Eric here? Eric Crawford? Or am I just imagining things? I'm just imagining things. The Village Group with Ray Funny, they have also been very supportive. The Georgetown County Museum, where we will have the reception immediately following this, they just opened their building to us because they understand the importance of what we're doing to the history of Georgetown, but also to the economy of Georgetown. The Georgetown County Chamber of Commerce, I think I saw Clayton Stairs. Clayton? There he is. Hi, Clayton. All right, representing the Georgetown County Chamber of Commerce, and then, of course, Wild's Funeral Home. Guess what they donated? It's right here. We want to thank Barbie Hill and her staff and Mel Jr. for their support and everything. And of course, if you saw on the back, everyone who donated towards this effort, those who are anonymous and those who shared their names with us, we want to thank them also for their efforts. Following me will be Lift Every Voice and Sing, led by Miss Angela Prelo. So if Angela could start moving forward, and I'm just going to say a couple more words. And I just want you to know that this has been actually more emotional than I thought it would be. And yesterday I got a little bit teary-eyed in a lecture, that's really emotional. Dr. Kate Larson didn't realize that, but it just really started hitting me. This is not just unveiling a historic marker, and I'm sure the Deltas understand this also. This is unveiling a vision, a dream of individuals who came out of nowhere. You know, and I just read recently about the Santee Delta in the Post and Courier and how hundreds of enslaved Africans and African Americans would just disappear during hurricanes, and they were not counted. But today we are together so that we can count two people that came out of slavery and left a mark, left a legacy for all of us. So I think it just started to hit me how emotional this journey has been. And Steve and Kent, I now consider them family. And let me tell you something, Kent is the moderate member of the family. He is the peacemaker. But it is all good, all right? And it just reminds us that we all have visions and dreams. And if you work at it, if you don't give up the fight, that the dreams and the visions can come true. And with that, I want to present Angela Prelo to lead us and lift every voice and sing. And if we can all stand for this, if you are able to stand. If you are not able to stand, please stay seated, because this is the Negro National Anthem. Thank you.
Please join me in singing one verse of Lift Every Voice and Sing. Lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Praising the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Thank you, Angela. That was beautiful. And as we take our seats again, I'm going to invite Steve Williams to come forward, and he will introduce Dr. Kate Larson. Oh, Ron is here. Hold that thought. Ronnie, come on. And Representative Carter.
Got a couple more minutes of morning left. So good morning, everybody. Now, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that Marilyn just called me out. I certainly apologize for being late, but let me just say how pleased I am to be a part of this program and a part of this moment. I think every once in a while, as individuals, we get an opportunity to be a part of something that's bigger than we are individually. I think every once in a while, as individuals, we get an opportunity to do something that lasts beyond our years. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, this is such a moment. And so let me just pause and thank all of those who did all of the research to get an understanding of the significance of a life that has impacted this community, of a life that has gone before us and in effect blazed trails that we now get an opportunity to travel in. And so I'm just delighted, proud, and privileged to be a part of this moment. Last point, because they gave me 60 seconds, y'all.
No, I gave you 1 minute.
Now let me see, how many seconds is that? But for years now, there'll be the little ones. And I tend to see life in two ways, because I believe that the greatness of our nation will be measured by what we do for our elderly folks and what we do for our young folks. And so I just see the little ones passing by. And my hope and my prayer is that they grow up with an intellectual curiosity that causes them to pick out or take out this little thing and Google that name. And when they do, what significance will this marker have? It is my hope that the marker serves as an inspiration to all who comes into contact with the life of the gentleman who it now honors. So thank you all so much. Thank you all for having me as a part of this program. Again, I apologize for being late, and God bless everyone.
Appreciate it. The day we are making history, this day will go down in history. And we are so fortunate to have one of the greatest Tubman scholars, historians with us today. And I want to introduce her because we didn't put it on the program. And her biography or her bio is just too long. But I want to say how grateful I am that she came all the way down from Massachusetts to be with us. And when I was researching with my good friend Kent, I kept seeing her name over and over and over. And if you really want to know things about Harriet Tubman that no other books and no other place has, listen to her carefully today, because she has history that I couldn't find anywhere else. There are several, probably hundreds, maybe thousands of books on Harriet Tubman, but there are very few scholarly written books on Harriet Tubman. She was the one that uncovered for us the true relationship between Harriet Tubman and James Bowley. So a gentleman by the name of Milton Certain said that she was the gold, when it comes to Tubman scholars, she's the gold standard. I introduce to you one of the nicest people that you could ever meet, but certainly one of the most knowledgeable, Dr. Kate Clifton Lawson.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. This is so amazing to be here. I'm looking at this crowd, all these faces, and they're here for James Alfred Bowley and his great aunt Harriet Tubman. This is just remarkable. So I have a few words here, but I hope that I can tell you or somehow convey the powerful love that Harriet Tubman had for her family. And James certainly was a product of her great love. So this home, James Bowley's home, is a vital, vital heritage resource and serves as a testament to the long, rich history of African American pursuit of freedom, equality, and justice at a time when local and national forces sought to temper the resiliency and determination of newly freed people. James Bowley was the much-loved great-nephew of the famous Underground Railroad agent Harriet Tubman, and as you heard earlier, he and his mother and baby sister were the first people that Tubman rescued in her efforts to liberate her family. It was her deep love for her family, for Bowley and his mother, that she returned to slave country, dangerous slave territory, to rescue them. They were, in fact, the first after her own escape in 1849. He was born enslaved in Dorchester County, Maryland in 1844 and was the grandson of Tubman's sister, Lina Ross Jolly, and the son of Keziah Jolly Bowley, Tubman's niece. And Tubman and Keziah were about the same age, and Tubman referred to James Bowley's mother, Keziah, as sister. That's how close they were and how much they loved each other. At the age of 6, James and his baby sister Araminta and their mother Keziah were set to be sold at auction at the testimony from shocked white witnesses remains preserved in a Maryland archive. Once free in Philadelphia, Tubman worked long hours as a domestic to secure James a coveted education, while his parents and baby sister moved on to Chatham in Ontario, Canada. Denied the right to learn to read and write letters herself, Tubman knew that formal literacy was its own liberation. Slave hunters roaming Philadelphia's streets eventually forced James to join his refugee family in Canada, while Tubman stepped up her missions of emancipation in Maryland. At age 19, Bowley left Canada and joined the United States Navy and waged battle against slavery during the Civil War. Like his aunt, Bowley committed himself to a life of service, settling here in Georgetown in 1866, where he worked with newly freed people as a teacher. Supported by the Freedmen's Bureau and resources raised by Harriet Tubman and her allies nearly 1,000 miles away in Auburn, New York, Bowley expanded educational opportunities for many. And you heard some of his accomplishments earlier during the reading of the proclamation. But I'd like to add that he fought for voting rights for everyone. And while he could vote, Harriet Tubman was never able to vote. She campaigned for the right for women to vote until the day she died. It is this home that is the physical, tangible representation of African American struggles and triumphs, fighting for civil rights, education, economic opportunities, family, and community building. Bowley's story has remained forgotten until now, but through the efforts of Kent Hermes, Steve Williams, Marilyn Hemingway, and their community of supporters, this city, the state of South Carolina, our nation, and the world can now see Bowley's important history and the embodiment of the legacy of Harriet Tubman. Tubman, America's hero, personifies the spirit of resistance perhaps more than any other American patriot. She endured a horrific childhood of abuse and neglect and slavery to rise up and battle the forces that subjugated her. She struggled against overwhelming odds to persist in a lifelong commitment to protecting and promoting her values rooted in family, freedom, faith, and community. She imbued that passion in her great-nephew, James Bowley. She would be so proud of him today. One of America's most revered congressmen, civil rights activist, John Lewis, once said, and this certainly applies to the man we celebrate today, quote, "The legacy of Harriet Tubman in America and around the globe today is one of being willing not to be afraid, to be of good courage, to be willing to go into places where few others dare to go, being willing to stand up, to speak out, and find a way to get in the way." This is what James Alfred Bowley did. He carried Tubman's spirit and legacy here to Georgetown. He and she can continue to inspire the greatness to shine in all of us and to make the world a better place. And let's all vote in honor of Harriet Tubman and James A. Bowley. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Larson. And I like that last piece too. Let's remember to vote, especially in November. All right, thank you. Next we have Dr. Edwin Breeden with the South Carolina Department of Archives and History Historic Marker Program, and he will be followed by Steve Williams, local author and historian. And I also, while we're here, want to recognize very quickly the South Carolina African American Heritage Commission. Representative, thank you for, they've been a great support of our programs. Thank you very much. All right, Dr. Breeden. All right, thank you. And as he arrives, I want to recognize Representative Carl Anderson. Carl, thank you for your support also.
I guess now I'll say good afternoon to all of you. My name is Edwin Breeden. I'm an historian with the South Carolina Department of Archives and History, where I serve as the coordinator for the South Carolina Historical Marker Program. So I had the pleasure of assisting the Gullah Geechee Chamber on this particular project, and I'm very excited to be here today at the unveiling of this, the most recently erected marker in our program here at the home of James A. Bowley. The South Carolina Historical Marker Program was officially established in 1936. And since then, more than 1,700 of these markers have been approved by our agency and erected across the state. Now, our office, we manage this program, but virtually all of those markers, including this one, they are proposed and supported and sponsored by organizations at the local level. So we're very grateful to groups like the Gullah Geechee Chamber for undertaking the work to complete this project and for helping to illuminate stories, people, places, events of importance around the state, many of them that in the past have not necessarily received as much acknowledgement as they should. So we are very grateful for their work, for seeing this project through to completion. I'd like to congratulate them and anyone else who is involved in completing this project, and I'd like to thank all of you very much for being here today, and I'd like to thank the Chamber for inviting me to be here, and with that, I will turn it over.
I have one question for you.
Yes, sir.
How often does Steve call you?
Just a few times, but they were all very pleasant, and I was always very happy to speak to them. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Breeden. It was way more than a few times. Oh, God. Oh, God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you. I want to thank everybody who's here. This has been a long project, but the day is so beautiful. So beautiful. 1993, 2 blocks that way. I was on the program when they dedicated Joseph Ames Rainey Park. Mayor Tom Rabillo was there. My dad. And I did an original poem called Be Uncommon. And I remember listening to the Honorable Congressman James Clyburn, who just lost his wife, by the way. And Clyburn said, it doesn't take much, or it doesn't take away from anybody to celebrate other people's accomplishments. And he talked about Christopher Columbus, Rosh Hashanah, and a few others. I never forgot that. So when Kent and I, who's like Marilyn said, we've been like family. We've argued and fussed like family, but we're still family. When Kent and I were doing the research, and we did it together, we both wanted a marker, and we both wanted the entire community of Georgetown to celebrate this with us. Yes, the Deltas pitched in mightily, but the other half came from all of us, because Harriet Tubman is for all of us. And now, so is James Bowley. Yes. I've been under the weather the last 5 months. Probably look at me and say, Steve, you lost a lot of weight. Yes, I have. And there were days I didn't think I was going to be here. Thank you. But I'm here today. And I thank God that I lived to see this day. And so, as we move on to the Gullah Museum for meet and greet, I want you, if you can make it, I know there are ball games and other things, but today, I want you to shake Dr. Larson's hand. I want you to shake Dr. Breeden's hand. I want you to shake Kent's hand. I want you to shake Marilyn's hand. And me, just give me a hug. That's all I need. Lastly, I want to say this, because I'm just going to thank everybody, because I don't want to miss anybody. But my pastor, your friend, has declared, now Mayor Barber has declared today James Bowley Day, but my pastor has declared tomorrow at Bethel James Bowley Day. Am I right? All right. Why is that, Steve? Because he was a member of Bethel. All right, taught Sunday school. So you all are welcome. And this afternoon, Miss Wyatt, the direct descendant of Harriet Tubman, will speak briefly, I guess, over at the museum, but she will also be at Bethel tomorrow. So you are all invited. Imani, baby, let me have one of those books, please. Thank you. I'm going to say this, and then we're going to go and have some light refreshments. What Marilyn and Ken and I decided to do, because we were so excited about this, is to add some flavor to this day. This book tells the story of the journey between Harriet Tubman and James Bowley. It is a children's book, but yes, it is a true story. And I had some help putting it together, and I want to acknowledge them today. As you can see, the colors are beautiful, I think, and the story is poignant. But here's what makes it so much more interesting. It's written in English and Gullah. Anybody know? Have you heard of Gullah? All right, that's popular down here. I can't speak it, but one of the greatest performing artists, poets, playwrights, preachers that I know put the Gullah to it, and you all know her too, Reverend Gloria Barford. Gloria? She's here somewhere. All right. And there's Gloria. Thank you, Gloria. And we're going to put an audio component to this soon. We're going into the studio so your kids can hear Gullah. And no one does it better. Brendan does it, but Gloria does it as well. All right. The other thing I like about this is it was a local illustrator by the name of Mr. Alan Dennison who put beautiful illustrations and pictures. So where's Alan? There he is right there. Come up a little so they can see. Now, is he macking or what? Got those white shoes? Got that hat? Putting us to shame. To shame. You're looking good, brother. We worked all summer for it. So if you can, get a copy. It's only $12. It's going quickly. So if you don't get it this weekend, maybe next, I'll order some more. But thank you, and once more, thank you.
All right, I'm going to do this before we do the closing prayer and call the person who will be doing that up. But I want to do a selfie. I know everybody's not going to get in this picture, but we're going to do it real quick, all right? All right. And post on Facebook. All right. Y'all should be proud of yourself. All right, you guys stay seated. All right, new technology. We gotta get with it, folks. We gotta get with it. All right, thank you everybody for coming out. We're gonna have a closing prayer, and then we're gonna have the unveiling. So don't leave yet. I know Steve is pushing you towards that museum. We actually have to unveil it, right? All right, and then we'll be at the county museum at 120 Broad Street, and they're waiting for us. All right. So closing prayer. Whoever Sam Williams has graciously stepped forward, and he will give us a closing prayer. Thank you. And before he comes, and there will be, you can still see the house before you head over to the reception for a short period of time. And stick around, take pictures and everything. All right? Thank you.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, again, let me thank you for this wonderful, awesome day that you have made, that we were able to enjoy the beauty of your hand. Thank you for this collaboration. We give you praise for the research, for Kent, Steve, the finding of information that started the whole process. Thank you for all of the groups, the organizations, all of the individuals that had a part in this great celebration today. We ask now that you continue to use individuals like these to find additional information that will reveal information that we can build upon for this county, this state, and this nation, that will once again release the rich heritage that we have here in Georgetown County. Thank you for Steve again for opening up his doors to this community. We pray now for Brother Clyburn, the loss of his wife. We pray for Sheriff Cribb and his family. We pray, dear Lord, for all of the bereaved. We just ask that you continue to hold us all in the hollow of your hand. For without you, we are nothing. And then, Lord, we pray now that the words of Miss Tubman, that we keep going. Regardless of whatever we're confronted with, that we keep going. If we're told no, keep going. If doors are closed in our faces, keep going. If we lose, keep going. Because one day we're going to hear you say, well done, you good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few things. come on up a little higher, that you can rule it. Now, we pray for the food, ask the blessing of God, that it be used for nourishment of our bodies for the dwelling place, for your Holy Spirit, for your souls. We will forever give you praise, honor, and glory for all the great things that you have done. And once again, we thank you for all of the individuals that lost their lives, shared their blood, built this nation. We give you praise for it. And all the people who say,
That was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Just a quick announcement. On Saturday, October 26th, we will have the inaugural Gullah Geechee Environmental and Energy Conference. You are all welcome to attend. It will be 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Howard Center. You will be hearing more about it. We had to get through this event, and then we'll start promoting that event. So you are all welcome to come out on Saturday, October 26th at the Howard Center. It's an issue, environment, and energy that we all need to know about. All right, thank you. You are all welcome. If we can have come forward to join us, Ms. Ernestine Wyatt, the great-great-great-grandniece of Harriet Tubman, Dr. Kate Larson, Steve Williams, Kent Hermes, owner of the historic Bowley House, and myself. And then we're going to ask the folks on the program if you could surround us as we unveil the marker, and then we can get some pictures in, and then everyone else can come and view and enjoy the house, the festivities. You can actually walk to the museum from here if you do choose to do that, or you can take your car. There is street and public parking near the museum. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Can I be facing that way or this way? Because all the cameras are set up over here. Oh.
The cameras over there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, no matter either way, but this is the back side of the market.
Oh, is that it? Well.
But you won't know.
Okay. Which?
No, that, are we filming that way?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn around.
Here's the paparazzi over here.
Paparazzi over there. Sorry. Can you see everyone?
Yes.
Good?
Yes.
All right, very good. All right, whenever you're ready.
Pull a little cord.
Oh, cool. Oh.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
We good?
It's sweet.
All right. Okay. Salt, we good?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
You want
all right.
to
Thank you,
smell?
everyone. Please come forward and enjoy. Thank you.
Two sides to this street. You gotta take the other side too. It's printed on the other side too.